Welcome to EdTech Monday. This is your platform where minds meet to discuss the use of technology in education. It's brought to you by the Mastercard Foundation in part with the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology, and it's on Channel 1 Television and 97.3 CTFM. My name is Bernard Avle. Thank you so much for joining us. The government is thinking of an EdTech strategy. It's really a policy that we want to put in place with various building blocks. I have a panel today to help us assess it in terms of how far it's come, and also find out from parents whether it's compliant to your own reality. We have a very exciting panel. When we come back, we'll tell you who they are. Stay with us. Welcome back. So today on EdTech Monday, we're delving into Ghana's draft EdTech strategy. So how far has the journey been in putting this together? What are the various building blocks? And what will this strategy do to help our young ones become globally competitive? I have a very exciting panel. I have Larry Agbado. He is the Deputy Executive Director of SendLoss. Larry, good to have you again.
Good to have you, Bernard, also.
Amazing stuff. Professor Kofi Sapong Edumenu is an Associate Professor of Computer Science, University of Ghana. Prof, great to have you.
Great to have you too.
Amazing. And we are happy to also be joined by the COO of Chalkboard Education, Genevieve Simiyu. Hello, Genevieve.
Hello, Bernard. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here.
Great to have you. So I always want people to know who you guys are before they have to hear what you want to say. So Larry, in a minute or two, what is SendLoss and what do you do there?
All right, so Bernard, thanks very much. So SendLoss basically stands for Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, an agency under the Ministry of Education responsible for seeing to the integration of ICT into our education system. We also handle issues around distance learning and then open schooling. So basically that is about SendLoss.
Yeah, one of the main arrowheads in government's EdTech implementation.
We are actually the main body responsible.
So you will use the strategy?
The strategy actually falls under our office.
Well, it has to be well drafted so that you can be useful to you. So we'll ask him whether he's done it well. Bro, tell me who you are and what you do.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Kofi Sapong Edumenu with the University of Ghana, Computer Science Department.
Nice.
So I teach mainly artificial intelligence and also data structures, and how computer systems must work. Mm-hmm. I also consult for the World Bank. So it was through the bank's intervention that this EdTech strategy was put in place with other agencies that supported.
And how long have you been working on this strategy?
For the past 2 years.
Whoa. Yeah, all right.
For the past 2 years.
I learned somewhere that these days knowledge changes every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So you know, the way
we don't have just a half of a year of the strategies.
We just have a half year.
We'll see. Genevieve, who is Chalkboard Education and what does Genevieve do there?
So Chalkboard Education is an EdTech platform that allows you to learn anything, anywhere, regardless of your internet connection. We're a company started here in Ghana, but we've spread across to 13 countries across Africa, including a few countries in South America. And we've been working primarily with teachers to improve their understanding of technology and make sure they're able to support learners in the classroom.
Wonderful. We want to urge parents to pay attention to this edition because we're trying to test the strategy in terms of how workable it is, and I'm on this show as a parent, not a journalist, so I'll be asking a lot of very basic questions. But we want to ask Prof to sort of walk us through the key highlights of the strategy, and for that I think you should go to the screen and just let's walk me through. So what are the key issues on the in terms of this strategy? What are you trying to do with the strategy?
Right. So let me give a background before we go into the issue. So, you know, many years back, government has decided to deploy a lot of technology in our classrooms.
Yes.
But most of these technologies are they are built in silos. So they don't talk to each other. They do things differently. But the goal is one. We want to make sure our young people can be driven by tech and they can use it, because in the modern parlance, that is where we are. And we need to make sure they are compliant. Hence, we need to understand whether Ghana indeed is ready with all these technology stuff. So the World Bank did a study on what we call the EdTech Readiness Index to see whether
ETRI,
whether Ghana is really ready to even begin with this EdTech and other things. So within the E3, we were to look at a comprehensive global tool, which will evaluate all the countries which Ghana was part.
Good.
And we're measuring different enabling factors. So what really are the factors that makes EdTech? So technical infrastructure, the human part, and also capacity. Wanted to make sure whether Ghana is ready in all these things. And then how we can monitor at the country level Ghana's progress to see where we are. And of course, we use this to inform policy. So let's see interesting things that came out of this.
Wonderful.
So we focus on 5 or 6 major areas: school management, teachers, students, devices, connectivity, and digital resources. You know, when you want to bring EdTech and school management is not in favor, forget about it. They will keep these devices in their offices locked up, and then nothing happens. So teachers, school management play key role when it comes to whatever we do with technology. Students, yes, are very important because they are the user side. They use all these things. So we want to see whether they have support at school, at home, other places, because EdTech is a continuous process. We do not just go into it and then you do at school and then you come home, there are no devices to deal with it. Devices very important, but EdTech without devices,
it's not going to happen.
it's not going to happen.
And then there's connectivity.
Connectivity, because Ghana's internet penetration rate itself is low, around 60-70%. We are heading towards 80, but we are still not getting what we are looking for. So connectivity was crucial for us to understand where we are, for students to assess it, the quality of service we want, and also the resources. All these can be in place. If we do not have the required resources, then we do not have EdTech. So
Wow.
these were the things that we have to look at within the framework, to look at policies, look at practices.
So the resources will be the content.
The content. So
Interesting.
how we're able to get the right access to content, the right content for the delivery of all these things we are looking at. So
Makes sense so
that's
far.
what we have put together. Then let's move on. So to be able to see Ghana's readiness, these were the indicators.
Wonderful.
So after all the evaluation, if Ghana falls within 4 to 5 in all of the components, then
We are good.
We are good.
3 to 4.
We have to know we are under caution.
1.
When we go to 1 to 3, then we need improvement.
We are in serious trouble.
Look at what happened in the Ghana situation.
Okay.
Let's see. We are almost read everywhere.
We are read everywhere.
Yes, let's see. Go down. Go up.
This is serious.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move to the next one.
So you
School
see,
management
we are
red. No, we are yellow.
Yellow, caution. It means that they are interested, but because of some indicators of how the bosses above them, treat. So we have one student, one laptop.
Sorry, go back. I want to just understand the 3 areas again. So
The 3
red
areas,
means you need
We
improvement.
need improvement.
3 means yellow means you are
Caution. So we are there, but
Green is good.
Good.
Okay, so
that's
go
what
down.
we are.
So there's no green,
No, there's no green.
So we are not good
Ghana's
anywhere.
situation, no, we are not good
and
enough.
we are red plenty.
Red plenty because we attempt to do devices, but the devices get to the schools and they are not
So
utilized.
device need improvement. Connectivity needs improvement.
Serious improvement, red.
Resources need improvement.
Yes, students, we are both caution and red because we have a lot of disparity.
Correct.
We only consider on some few schools. Teachers also, we have that kind of disparity. School management, they've done well there because we carry them along all the
This is
time, and that is where we are. So
But it
this,
seems to me as if this will be a very important driver of the improvement.
All of them.
here. So at least we are heartened that this is yellow.
this is
and
yellow,
it's not red.
at least, and we are moving somewhere.
Very
Teachers, red, yellow, because some teachers still fail to hold mouse today.
Yes.
They are still
They
afraid.
still draw it on the
That
screen.
is the whole thing.
Let's keep moving.
And then we move. So let's see. So because of this, look at where we are. So while we are red on practices, 2.7 availability, student that says 1.49. So most of the students do not have devices. One policy eating us up is the secondary school level policy where you can't send devices
To school.
So surely it will be red. And then quality, we are still red because most of the principals are saying that bandwidth is not sufficient.
Not enough data.
Yeah, we don't have enough of these. Under policies, you can see we are scoring 2.5 for planning. Like I said, we do silos. So we are not really integrating things. And the monitoring, we have 2.5. We can send the EdTech in there, but we don't even monitor. So in no time, devices are worn out, things are not helping.
Something here I wanted you to comment on.
Yeah.
In terms of policies, no clear strategies,
Monitoring mechanisms or support systems
exist. It's a big issue, right?
Exactly, and that is why we are going with we initiated the EdTech strategy.
Thank you.
So we didn't have any out of the readiness. We saw that we're out. So then there was a need to put together a strategy document to guide the way Ghana will move within the EdTech space.
Wonderful.
Yep.
So let's move on.
So then we want to also bring to your attention that Ghana has an ICT in education policy.
So there's a policy there.
There's a policy.
Beautiful.
So that's the latest version is 2015. Attempt has been made to review it in 2024. I'm saying attempt because it's still in limbo. So now we only make reference to the 2015 document because that one is there. It has been approved and it's working.
So usually when you talk about policy, it's like what sits at the top.
At the top.
This is the government's vision.
The government vision.
Strategy
Then
is how you want to get
how
there.
you want to get there.
Thank
That
you.
is what's happening.
So there's a policy framework
a policy framework.
out of which you are now deriving a
Deriving the
strategy.
strategy and where we want to go.
And there were 8 policy
eight
areas.
pillars. 8 pillars. So
Management and administration of education.
And that's why we are doing well there. We are yellow because government was mindful
Wonderful.
to ensure that management and administration of the education system itself is catered for.
Then infrastructure, maintenance,
connectivity, e-readiness, and equitable access. It's something that we are looking for to ensure we bridge. Then curriculum design, instructional delivery and assessment, inclusive ICTs for learners and educators with special educational needs,
Correct.
capacity building and professional
Very
development,
important.
emerging tech and adaptability, industrial collaboration, partnership and financing, and then cyber security and digital safety.
So these are the 8 policy
8
areas.
policy areas. So out of this, then we derived the strategy
For each of the 8.
for each of the areas. Hence,
Amazing.
we even went beyond because some of them were big. We have to split them so we can have specific activities.
But
to
at least
do
this
there.
gives us a sense of how to think about
Exactly.
it. All right, let's move to the next one.
So that brought us to think of what we want to put into the EdTech strategy.
So you
we
call
have
it a digitally inclusive and resilient educational system in Ghana that enhances learning, teaching and management through accessible, relevant and sustainable edtech. This is quite neat.
Exactly.
I like
And then that led us to have a mission where we want to guide the integration of digital technology into Ghana's educational system by strengthening foundational systems, which is very important because you saw teachers half red,
Half
half
yellow.
yellow. Two students half red, half yellow. So we need to strengthen foundational systems, expand equitable access, empower educators and learners, and then promote innovation within our sector. So we need a strategy that can help us to achieve this mission.
I'm with you so far. I think the vision is clear. The
Yep.
mission is also, it makes sense. So let's
Great.
go on.
Good. So what are the strategic objectives? We want to establish clear rules and policies and structures to lead the implementation, expand ICT infrastructure, support creation of localized content. So government has in mind we have to have curriculum design, but we need to make sure it's localized, train teachers, administrators, learners to have improved digital literacy, use data systems to track edtech, protect the learner. Very important. Once you put them online, you expose them to tech, then you have to think of
Particularly
protection.
because they are young. So
They are
I
young.
would circle this as a key point for
Sure.
me as a parent.
Yep.
Protecting learners and school data is very critical for me
Very
as
critical.
a parent. Yes.
So you can promote also responsible digital citizenship because now
course.
we are moving into a digital paradigm.
Yes.
We expect us to live in a certain code when we are also online.
Yes.
We cannot be seen as going beyond what is expected. Then we ensure all learners are part. So we are not taking anybody out. So disability, those in remote areas, everybody can have access.
So these are your strategic objectives.
objectives.
There are 8.
Yes, 8
Because
of
of
them.
course your policy objectives were 8.
Yeah.
Let's move to the next one.
Good. So now, out of that, then we give it to the 13 thematic pillars
You,
of the
you, are,
strategy.
you are behaving like a computer scientist, right? So you are sort of deriving
Of course.
and your root issues.
Yeah,
Very
so-
interesting. So governance, management and admin, infrastructure and connectivity, localized content creation, capacity building. Are these in order of importance or is just 13?
Well, it's just 13.
Just 13. Okay,
So we
just
didn't
for-
order them in
Alright.
but of course, if you look at it, it forms that intent because governance is crucial.
Yeah.
And the
Everything
management
starts with that.
Everything starts from there.
And the
hence
management sort of takes over.
takes over. Infrastructure
is a
comes
building
in.
block.
So local content. So inherently,
It's like the base.
It's the base.
Then you build on that curriculum, ICT, inclusivity and accessibility, AI and emerging tech,
cyber security, data safety. You look at data management, how we protect,
protection,
how we monitor,
monitoring.
and then how we do the experiential learning.
This makes a lot of sense. So it's like you start from here and end
You
here.
end there.
Because at the end of the day, you want learning and innovation to thrive.
Yeah.
But it starts from the infrastructure, the governance.
Then we are leading down. So this is where we are with the strategy.
So parents, we have 13 thematic areas for the strategy, and I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense, at least for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Larry and Genevieve what they think. Is this your last? Is there
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
Beautiful.
Sure, for
Thank
now.
you.
Sure.
So I think, look, you've given us enough for us to think about. EdTech Monday took us back to the classroom.
Yeah.
And Prof. Edumenu, thank you so much. I'll just take first-time thoughts from Larry and Genevieve on what we've seen before I even get into the details. Larry, what do you make of what we've seen so far?
Oh, this is actually a very great one. It covers almost every aspect of our education system. If you look at the 13 pillars, from governance to management and administration, to even AI and emerging technology, which is now the norm of the day. So it's actually covering every aspect of our education system.
Genevieve, I don't know if you remember the 13. We'll put it on the screen. What did you make of what Prof said? And are you excited or worried with what you've heard so far?
I'll start with, I'm very excited. I really like what I've seen on the screen so far. I think it's a very well thought out policy as well, just because of the 13 pillars and the research that has gone into coming up with this policy. I know it was not any light work for anyone, so I think it's a very good document, and I'm really happy that it's coming to the public so that we can all see and collaborate and work together to make sure it becomes something we can use to regulate our work in EdTech.
Wonderful. I think from what I saw, governance was at the base, school management, infrastructure. Those seem to be the big ticket items. Can you explain why those are important? And I'll ask Larry to comment on whether you agree as well, that those seem to be where everything starts from, right?
Everything starts from governance and the management administration, because government has made effort to send devices to some selected schools, and also has sent some kind of programs to some schools to implement. But Ben, I really believe that you go to some of these schools and these devices are locked up in offices where they're saying that, oh, well, we have not been permitted to use these devices. But remember, devices have timelines. They can become obsolete. So then, before we see, government has, the program is just gone, devices unused, and then we need to go and reinvest. So if the top is not well motivated to implement whatever government seeks to put across, then we'll be out. Aside this problem, another important problem that we have identified why we think governance is very important is when the schools are given these resources, they still wait on government to maintain the resources. So then there is no plan. Okay, there's no sustainability plan, let me put it that way, to make sure that the devices that has been brought or the resource that has been brought are maintained for future generations. And it's like, oh well, government bodies is not sufficient, so we are still waiting for it, or we don't have money to maintain it, so iBoxes will be damaged and then they can't maintain it, laptops will be damaged and they can't maintain it, waiting for government to come back again to maintain this. So governance issues and management are very critical if we want EdTech to really succeed.
Larry, what are your thoughts around the arrangement of the 13 priorities, and which of the priorities speak to you the most?
For me, sitting at where I am currently, I think governance is the top priority for me, because everything trickles down from there. As you said earlier on, that's the base. And if you even look at the strategy, it makes room for some level of leadership, where we are going to have a national steering committee, a technical working group. So imagine if this strategy had been implemented earlier. The challenges we are currently having with the one student, one tablet. Recently, I'm sure you heard the minister complain that the students are using the tablets
to do other things.
Very good. So when this strategy is actually implemented faithfully and then inclusively, I think it will go a long way to address some of these challenges.
Jennifer, I don't know if you're able to take a screen grab of the 13. I don't remember all, or if they can put it up again, because I wanted you to tell me which one or two of them speaks to you the most, because of course you are an EdTech entrepreneur. You have a solution that you bring to support learning. So I don't know which of the 13 you remember and which of them you think are quite important.
I actually have three. So the school management, I think it's very important to work with the schools to ensure that we are working together, so they do not feel like we are coming into their space and overlooking their policies and their practices as an institution. Another pillar that I really appreciate is the data and the data governance, mostly because as EdTech, we also are collecting data. So we need to know how the learners are learning, what they're learning, how long it takes for them to learn. So the time on task and all that information. And that needs to be regulated. It needs to be something that we can easily access, but also not at the detriment of the learner. So of course, looking at the anonymized data, making sure that's made available to entrepreneurs so we can build something that is relevant for the learners instead of building something that the learners will struggle with. And lastly, I really appreciate the cybersecurity aspect of things, mostly because we are now bringing these devices to our learners and we know all the dangers that exist on the internet. So having that in place would make sure that our learners are protected and might not fall prey to any of the challenges that exist online.
Thank you, Genevieve. This is EdTech Monday, and it's coming to you on 97.3 City FM and also on Channel 1 Television. And the question is simple: will your child be left behind as Ghana drafts its EdTech strategy? My guest, Professor Kofi Sarpong Edumenu, who's a lead consultant working with the Department of Computer Science to develop this strategy. Larry Agbado is the Deputy Executive Director of the SendLoss. They are the main arrowhead for government when it comes to delivering EdTech, and of course Genevieve Simuyu, the COO of Chalkboard Education. They are solution providers within the EdTech space. When we come back, we have a big question. Strategy doesn't implement itself, so how do we move from great strategy to great implementation, and how do we involve parents, teachers and other stakeholders to own the strategy and make sure it works? Stay with us. This is still EdTech Monday, coming to you on Channel 1 Television and on 97.3 City FM. It's brought to you by Mastercard Foundation with support from the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology, and it's on 97.3 City FM and of course Channel 1. My name is Bernard Avile. My guests tonight are Professor Kofi Sarpong Edumenu. Tonight, if you're watching us on television, today if you are listening to us on radio, Larry Agbado is the Deputy ED of the SendLoss, which is the Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, and Genevieve Simuyu is the COO of Chalkboard Education. Guests, thank you so much for staying with us. We've learned a lot of things. I just want to go through the 13, you call them thematic pillars: governance, management and admin, infrastructure and connectivity, localized content creation, capacity building, curriculum and ICT integration, inclusivity and accessibility, AI and emerging trends, cybersecurity and digital safety, data management and reporting, and the last three: data protection, M&E, and of course experiential learning and innovation. Prof, is this strategy done as we speak?
Yes, as we speak, the strategy is done. We held the very last stakeholder engagement latter part of last year, so it's now ready for the minister to review and then assent to it, and then becomes a working document. So
for every strategy, there's an owner.
There's an owner.
Who drives it? Who's the owner of the strategy?
So the one who, at World Bank and then Mastercard Foundation with EdTech Hub. Of course, SendLoss is the key ministry. I mean, the agency lead
to
of
implement.
it. They are there. So the bank, Mastercard, and then EdTech Hub. They are the key.
I thought you said the Ministry of Education.
What do you think? So the Ministry of Education.
When I say owner, I'm not saying who paid for it.
Okay. So
what I'm saying is, who has the agency to run with it?
Ministry of Education.
Correct.
Yeah. That's why we need the minister to assent to it. Then SendLoss begins to work with it.
Is that the same understanding you have?
Yeah. So basically the same. World Bank, Mastercard Foundation, and other key partners, including West Africa, have been very instrumental in supporting us in developing this strategy, and we appreciate them so much. But at the end of it all, the strategy is going to lie right in front of us as SendLoss to now take to work with. We've also been involved in the process of developing it together with a consultant here, Prof. Menu. As he said, very soon it will get to the desk of the minister, where he will have a final review of it before he assents his signature to it. And once that is done, then the next phase we are going to look at, which is the most critical phase, has to do with the implementation. Once we get it wrong from that stage, then it means the whole essence of developing the strategy was not worth it. But I think with the efforts that we are putting in, together with the support of our key partners, the World Bank, MasterCard Foundation, and MERS Africa and others, I think we are very particular about the implementation also. Within this period, we've been having the Africa EdTech Policy Academy, and the implementation has been one of the key focus that we have been looking at. Other African countries have gone ahead of us. Some African countries already having the strategy. They are currently on implementation. If you listen to the success stories of some of these countries, you realize that it's actually helping the education system. And the best we can also do is to learn from some of these success stories and see
so
how...
Let me understand you. The strategy is there.
Yep.
You are the main implementer.
Yes.
Do you have an implementation plan?
So until the strategy is finally approved, the next phase is the implementation plan. We've not gotten there yet, but we are working ahead to get a plan ready before even the strategy is approved.
Genevieve, do you see a role for your institution and similar ones in all of this? If you do, can you explain what role you will be playing in this?
Yes, I do. So once this policy is approved, of course, there would need to be implementation partners. And that is where the likes of myself and my colleagues in different organizations would come in. We'd be able to work with the ministry to make sure that we're implementing the use of EdTech or education technology in different classrooms, or even at the ministry themselves when they use the technology according to the policy. So I believe that there's a lot of opportunities that this would open for myself and other practitioners.
I do not see a direct role for parents, but I'm sure it's hidden there somewhere. So you probably need to explain it to me. As a parent, I've seen big numbers, governance, this, that. I didn't see parental responsibility or anything. So is it that I'm misinterpreting this, or what's going on there?
Well, so they are inherent. For example, when it comes to the safety and then the security bit, we need parental guidance and parental control, as well as teachers as well. So when they are in school, management and teachers take care of them. When they are home, parental guidance are in there. You know, earlier I said that it's a pipeline. We cannot think about EdTech only in schools. We will fail. So we need to think about it as a holistic approach. So from home to school, back to home, so that parents are a big leap into this. So when we'll fashion out that one clearly in the implementation plan, because that is where we'll see the role of parents when the various actions and strategies, actions and objectives needs to be crafted. Then we can see who is doing what at what point in time. So at this phase, it is at the, let me say, a bit high level. So parents are in there, but until you go into it, you may not see their role, but they have a very crucial role in all these things.
I'm pushing this angle because this week we are discussing in the UK, some people suing a social media company for what they consider to be like addiction based on the way the social media system is built. And this person is a 20-year-old. So I feel like there's a lot of concern around responsible use of digital tools. And also, children spend a lot of time in school, but they are supposed to be nurtured at home. So I would love to see an explicit role. And I'm a parent. Okay. I haven't read the whole strategy, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I'm not sure what punishment there is if I don't do it. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? So it's very, I'm a responsible parent. I don't like it to go.
At a strategy level, you will not see all these things, but at the implementation level, you see them. Because what do I need to do? If I don't do it, what is there for me? That is the implementation.
But I need to know what the strategy says about responsible use of tools. So that I'll have a certain rubric for implementing it. I think that's part of the strategy.
The responsible use of the tools are enshrined at the digital safety part, where we want to see what we need to do. So one, we are saying that the agencies who are going to deploy these tools to the schools, for example, when you look at the genocide SENLOS, an agency like the National Teaching Council, an agency like
Education Service.
GES, NACA, they send these things directly to the schools. So then we put the burden of proof on them. So when they are sending these tools there, they have to be responsible for the safety of these devices. But when it has gotten in there, now implementation comes in. That's where the governance and every other person comes in there. Parents, teachers, and then PTA will come in, and then the management will also come in to ensure that when this device is handed to the child, for example, the parental controls must be set. You know, the issue we are having with the one laptop is because these tools, when was sent there, what it was supposed to do was that teachers set all the parental controls, all the controls on the device before the student use it. It's even being monitored from the a station in Accra here. So even if you go to places which are not supposed to go, we are able to see it to block you. But these things were not finalized, and then the devices got into the hands of the students. Hence, you can imagine what can happen. They can go to any other site and do whatever they have to do. So all these roles have been defined at a very high level.
Is there a plan for training teachers in being digitally literate? Because it seems to me as though the teachers or educators will be very central in this type of strategy.
Yep.
Is there a clear plan? Let me take other views on this. Is there a clear, okay, I'll start with, is there a clear plan for this?
There is a clear plan. So capacity building in itself comes with a very basic level. So we took it for granted that everybody who is holding a digital device has knowledge of its usage. But that is not true. You know, people hold devices in their hands, but their comfort is only the part that they are interested in. Outside that, nothing else is of use to them. So then we need to train individuals, teachers, on how to really set these securities on devices, because they don't know how to do
Larry
it.
and then Genevieve, do we know or have we done an assessment of our teachers to know the skills gaps? If you took 100 teachers in Ghana, is there a ranking of their ICT readiness or something? Is there a way of knowing what the gap is? Because you can't train somebody for something you don't know that they don't have.
So there's actually a huge gap in that area. In the past few years, the National Teaching Council, together with SENDLOS, with the support of Mastercard Foundation, have trained quite a number of teachers in digital literacy. We have over 400 teachers even under the government payroll, but with that we're able to train about just 70,000 or so. So there's still a huge gap to fill when it comes to the training. Aside that, also in one of our recent stakeholder engagements on the strategy, we also identified some other gaps with the pre-service teachers, that is those who are even in school, in the colleges of education, in the universities. That why do we also wait for them to come up before we now find ways of training them in these areas? Why don't we start the training right from their training institutions? Then they have the knowledge on handling these devices, on how to take learners through them before they even come out of their various training institutions. Right. So it's actually something we are trying to find solutions to, not just for the in-service, but even those who are currently under training. There's a huge gap there as well, that if we don't fill now, in some years to come, they're the same people who will come out. But I think also, just as you mentioned earlier, with regards to the parents, just as Prof mentioned, when we go into the implementation plan, under that we also have some communication strategies that we are developing, which is going to help us work closely with parents and even communities. Because when we talk about the implementation, it also has to do with infrastructure. Now this infrastructure has to do with devices, has to do with even power. One key element of this strategy is equity. That every learner, irrespective of their geographical area, should be catered for. You go to a school probably in Bongo, and that school has no source of power. So all those things also have to be catered for. Devices, power, connectivity, internet. And all this will involve working closely with stakeholders. If you're going to put up an ICT lab in a community that will serve learners or kids there, you have to work with parents, you have to work with the community leaders to make sure that even that ICT lab that is going to be put up there will serve its purpose and will not be used for something else.
Genevieve, you can tell I'm very worried about safety for kids and also skills gaps for teachers. Can you provide me any comfort with what you know?
Yes, I can. So I'd like to just add on what the gentlemen have said, that the NTC has done a lot of work to include ICT into their curriculum, even for the pre-service teaching. One of the bottlenecks that we're now seeing is that because, as Bernard mentioned, technology is evolving so quickly. So within the space of 3 months, 6 months, up to a year, things will have changed. So even with us as EdTech practitioners, whenever we're bringing in our applications to the classrooms, the teachers have not interacted with this particular application before. So they're familiar with a few of the apps they've been exposed to, but not really the ones that we're bringing into the classroom right now. So what we need to focus on there is, I know MEST is working very hard on this at the Ministry of Education as well, in making sure that the EdTech practitioners are aligning themselves to what their ministry needs, working within the education strategic plan to make sure that they're covering all the bases. So for the teachers, for the learners, making sure the curriculum is something that we're also working on as EdTech practitioners. When it comes to the safety and the devices, that has always been a very big question that parents are asking. And one of the assumptions, as Prof mentioned, was that most people know how to use these devices, but some people don't know how to, switch it to children's mode or child mode. And leaving it to one teacher who's handling maybe 40 devices would be quite unfair. So one of the ways to make sure that this policy is successful is to engage the parents and bring it to their level and make sure that we're sensitizing them as much as possible in as much as we're working with the teachers. So for instance, we can get access to the teachers through our application and our training programs, but we will not be able to access the parents, and they would probably be accessed at community sports. So for instance, either the church or the mosques, an NGO somewhere will be able to do an outreach training for them so that they're able to know how to use these devices with their children. The children are also very, very using the devices. The way the devices are made are very intuitive, and as someone mentioned, the social media suit that's going on, it's done in a way that just encourages you to keep using the device or keep using the application. So children are able to quickly, navigate the applications without much training. You don't need to tell a 1-year-old where to click. The buttons will speak to them on their own. So you need to be able to tell parents that this is what is going on the device and make sure that they're able to understand how to limit the access to certain platforms for their children.
Thank you, Genevieve. Prof, some teachers worry that technology might increase their workload. How can EdTech actually make teaching easier?
All right, so technology comes rather make our work more easier. It releases most of the stress that we have on ourselves, especially if we know how to use it. Remember, one of the things that people don't want is change. So in itself, they know they don't want to switch to these platforms because they feel they are born before computers or they are born before AI. So then they don't want to go into this new terrain. But when you have this digital knowledge, lesson plans becomes very easy to craft. For example, if you have to write all your lesson plans, it will take you hours to do. Today, you can use technology to create them. So then you have time enough to, care for the young person who has been brought to you. Many things do happen in our classroom because teachers do not have much time. So when we bring in this technology, it integrates with them to do the learning. What we are doing now is integrating technology even in our discussion here. So we can integrate it. There are some lessons that we can easily engage the learners to discuss it whilst the teachers supervises all these things, because they have the tools, they have the resources in the classroom to be engaging with it. So teachers must not be afraid. The challenge is because they have not been trained adequately. But when you have been prepared very well, and then you know how to use the tool along your classroom work, then it helps you.
Right.
But the change management process is one of the big deals we'll be tackling in the implementation plan. But that is where the whole thing starts from. People don't want to change from their usual ways of doing work to this one, and hence they feel that when you bring the technology, it takes their work from there, and then what will they be doing? But the technology cannot do anything itself unless you, the human agency, drives it.
Wonderful.
Whatever you want to do. So it's going to rather make our work more softer and easier.
Larry, how do you suppose this roadmap will change the way children learn at home?
Okay, I think this is actually going to change the face of not just learning but teaching also. And with learners learning at home, then it also comes back to the parents. And that is why I said in the implementation plan, we have a very special space on how we are going to have further stakeholder engagement, particularly with parents, how we can reach out to parents. Because once they leave the walls of the school and they get home, whatever the learners, whatever devices they are playing with or using to learn, they are now in the hands of the parents. Parents are supposed to monitor what these learners are using the devices to learn or watch, be it on a tablet or phone or laptop. So it's actually going to change the whole EdTech strategy. It's actually going to change the face of learning and teaching as a whole. And I feel that the key area there is also reaching learners in deprived areas. How we can reach them. And the strategy talks about even going far of developing content that can be kept on offline platforms. So if you go to a place like Chinderi, where probably there's a challenge with network, these offline platforms can help learners there also get access to the same quality materials that someone probably in Kumasi or Accra has access to.
Genevieve, let's talk finally about partnerships. I know you've built partnerships with governments and global organizations, right? What kind of partnerships would make a national EdTech strategy sustainable?
Right. So the partnerships would need to be very strategic. We need to move away from the project-based approach, which normally, once a project is complete and there's no sustainability plan, then the project would come to an end and everything we've done has gone away. So what I'd recommend and what we've done in practice is that a lot of research goes into the work that we do. So whatever we're working on, it's research based, and then we focus on the evidence that comes out of that research, and we're able to share that with different partners so that they can come in and work together long term. So we're able to see, for instance, areas that have low connectivity, areas that have no electricity, areas that don't have or regions that have device shortages, so that not everybody's using the same device. We need to be able to work around those. So once our partners are able to have these this evidence and this data made available to them, then they're able to make the right decisions to work long term on these projects with us. When we focus on the project base, which is going to be something for 6 months or 1 month, or 1 year, then you realize that you're only working to, within a log frame. You're like, okay, these are the goals I set, and this is what I want to achieve, and then I'm done. And that's not going to be sustainable for EdTech, because you need to that we need to make sure that, for some of us, these are businesses, so we need to make sure the business is running for the next century to come, something that you can hand over to your children in the future. Another thing that we realized really helps with the partnerships is the community. So working with the teachers, working with the communities that we're working in. We've been fortunate to work in rural areas as well, and we realized that one of the major challenges, and not just rural areas, but is connectivity. So when we realize that the connectivity is an issue, we need to leverage the community centers, because then usually stronger. They normally put maybe a mast around a church or a mosque, so the network will be stronger there. So having that relationship allows the community to allow your learners to come into the space when they need it, to use the devices as they should. You can also use NGO spaces, which also have a bit of access. So we need to focus on also the design of the technology that we're using. If we design our technology in a way that isn't inclusive, so it leaves people out. So if, for instance, if you're designing only internet-only devices, then we'd have a challenge there, because we'd leave a lot of the population behind. So we need to focus on making sure our designs and our devices are something that can be used by everybody.
Thank you. Let's wrap up with a final question. We are in an era of inclusivity and equity. How can this strategy ensure that people living with disability, people in low-income communities, rural, are not left behind in this digital learning?
Right. So one of the key things is the strategy makes way for things like bringing in accessibility features in most of the platforms that we'll be putting out within this EdTech strategy when we begin the implementation. So those who, we have sign language taking place now. It tells you that when we are also creating the localized contents, one of the key features that we have to always have in mind is those who are within the areas of signing, those who cannot see, we put in accessibility features so that they can navigate the platform without any difficulty. They don't need anybody's support. They should be as free as any other person navigating around the platform. So when we enable all these accessibility features, then it gives them that strength to be bold enough to use the platforms. Offline devices, very crucial. We need to design the solutions along as we move into the online devices, we don't just do online, then offline becomes an afterthought. It should be right from the beginning. When we want to go into the implementation, we are going with both online and offline solutions. Then also within the context of spreading the devices in closer reach areas. So there are some schools that are very far. We need to build some hubs where they can, get together, take the knowledge, go back to their schools, and then they come. So we need to intentionally build these community hubs around to make sure that people can access some of these solutions wherever they are. We do not have to limit our reach, whether in the rural areas, urban, peri-urban, wherever we are. We need to make sure that every solution reaches the very last individual within the country.
Thank you very much, Professor Kofi Sapong Edumenu, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science, University of Ghana. Larry Agbado, who is the Deputy ED for Senlos, and Genevieve Simiyu, who is the COO of Chalkboard Education. We've been broaching the subject of an EdTech strategy. It's in the draft state, hoping that you parents and teachers and all stakeholders listening have learned a thing or two. Feel free to send us a WhatsApp message on what you think of the policy and what can be done to improve it. If you're listening on radio, send it to our WhatsApp number 053-998-6996. We're watching on television as well. The number is on the screen. We really want to hear from you so we can feedback some of your views to Kofi and his team, so that before the minister signs off, if there are any T's to be dotted, crossed or I's to be dotted, those will be brought in. Guest, thank you very much for being on the show. A big thank you to the Mastercard Foundation for keeping faith with EdTech, and to our friends MEST for all the facilitation. We'll see you next time with another edition of EdTech Monday. Have a good day.
Go Ghana! This March, we don't just remember where we're from, we celebrate who we are. Our stories, our culture, our rhythm, our pride. And it all begins with an evening designed to set the tone for an unforgettable Heritage Month. Join us as we officially launch the Heritage Month 2026 in grand style, color, and culture. Date is Wednesday, 25th February 2026. The venue is the Channel 1 TV Gardens. The time is 5:30 p.m. prompt. It will be an evening of culture, conversation, music, fashion, and storytelling as we unveil the exciting lineup of events and programs specially curated for you this March. From powerful cultural experiences to engaging community moments to celebrations that connect generations. The Heritage Month 2026 promises something for everyone. This is more than a lunch. It's a gathering of cultural lovers, a meeting of tradition and modern expression, a night that sets the heartbeat for the month ahead. The Heritage Month Launch 2026. We will see you there. This event is strictly by invitation.
I was obsessed with getting bigger and getting ripped. When I first tried it, I was scared, and that's when everything started to spiral.
Exercise addiction is a compulsive need to exercise excessively, despite harmful effects on health and daily life.
My name is Leroy, and I've been doing bodybuilding for the past 9 years, and I'm an ex-sport addict. I've always been a very, very small guy, very skinny guy. And they'll always call me names like, skeleton, skinny bones. As you journey through high school and you start seeing people who are exercising, getting all the girls, that's when I started noticing that, okay, I need to change my body.
Exercise can have many health benefits: improved focus, memory, sleep, and body weight.
My mom was like, no, listen, dude, I can see you have a passion for personal training. And would you like to do that? That's literally how I started with the personal training, when I started to fall in love with bodybuilding.
When you exercise, your brain releases chemicals that reduce pain, improve mood, and regulate stress. This can create a kind of high that can be quite addictive.
That's beautiful. That is definitely beautiful.
Because this one is more bulky.
To witness my friend chasing that look that looks so Marvel or DC-like, that superhero look, it really had a toll on him because people don't understand bodybuilding it's a lifestyle.
I'll start eating clean. I eat a lot of protein. Because not eating for flavor, basically eating pretty much just to build in, getting the nutrients. I had to go in the gym early in the morning, like your 5 a.m.s. I felt that, being ripped is not enough. I just needed to be bigger.
There are many signs of exercise addiction. Prioritizing workouts over everything else, overtraining, ignoring injuries, and growing anxious when unable to train all indicate you might have a problem. This can come with wide-ranging health risks, from fatigue to hormonal or body image issues.
What inspired me to start competing was because I saw the changes in my body. Because there were so many people that I was competing with that were already in the field, they pretty much dusted me. They had more definition.
Muscle dysmorphia is a body image disorder that mostly affects men. It causes them to feel like they're not muscular enough, even when they're already very fit. This can lead to an obsession with working out and achieving the perfect body.
That's when everything started changing.
He told me he's using testosterone. It's not a secret in the bodybuilding industry. It's something that's known.
I was not even concerned about the impact or the side effects of it. All I wanted to know was, is it going to work? Is it going to give me bigger muscles? Is it going to give me the shape that I want for bodybuilding? And it worked well. I was getting more buffer. I was training non-stop and it felt good. It felt great. The changes in my body was incredible. And on my 5th show, that's when I actually won my first show for the first time. And I was like, okay, I guess this is what it takes to be number one.
Anabolic steroids are synthetic versions of the hormone testosterone. They can help muscles grow, but come with significant risks. These include hair loss, erectile dysfunction, mental disorders, cancer, and early heart attacks.
I was using something that was extremely harsh for the first time. They call it the king of steroids. And that's when I experienced major side effects. I lashed out towards my friends. Eventually, I broke up with my ex because of how I was starting to change. Fear of, losing my position or my job as a personal trainer at the gym. That's when I started seeing that, okay, this is going to be a real problem.
I want it to be fair because I believe that dark skin is not beautiful. I see most people buy creams and within 2 weeks, they're not very, very light. I don't attend functions, I'm always hiding, and I don't wear open clothes. That was how my bleaching journey started.
Skin bleaching refers to the use of products or procedures to lighten skin tone by reducing melanin levels.
My name is Adigbesom. I was bleaching for 4 years. What attracted me to skin bleaching was my environment. Like 80% of people around me were fair. People that are fair in complexion, they get more attention than people that are dark skinned. So I wanted to be very fit so that I can have more opportunity.
Cultural and social pressures tied to beauty standards have made skin bleaching a common practice worldwide. More than 1 in 4 Africans uses products that promise to lighten skin tone. Nigeria tops the global charts. 77% of the people there bleach their skin.
I wanted to be a sales rep then, so when I applied with a very fair lady. When we entered into the office, the man was like, "Oh, you are very, very beautiful," to the other lady. And they just looked at me and said, "Are you for the interview?" So I said, "Yes." I didn't get the job, but I learned that the other lady got the job. In my mind, I feel like, oh, maybe because she's very, very fair.
Psychological factors like low self-esteem can increase pressure to try to lighten your skin. But those same factors can also increase the risk that you might grow emotionally dependent on skin bleaching products, much like an addiction.
Within a week, my face was getting very fair. And people were like, "Oh, you're not looking very beautiful. What are you using?" Then I say I want to be like 4 to 5 shades lighter. And I think I really got the result. I was almost looking like one Snapchat filter. That was really my goal. I want to be very, very fair.
She deceived herself that time because she didn't believe in her skin before.
How old do you think I was?
16 years or 17 years.
I look very dark.
Yes.
Very dark.
She didn't told me about the cream she buy, but I was see it. And I told her to stop the bleaching. No, mommy, it's not like that. I just want to look fine. Okay? Continue. Gradually.
The color of your skin is determined by the melanin it makes. Melanin is a natural pigment also produced in your hair and eyes. It determines their color too. Many skin lightening products reduce melanin production. To do that, they often contain harmful concentrations of chemicals.
I had black spots all over my face. So it was something that was really bothering me. I had blemishes, discolorations, and all of that.
Hydroquinone can cause rashes, facial swelling, and permanent discoloration. Mercury, a toxic metal, can damage vital organs and harm your nervous, digestive, and immune system.
It made my self-confidence move from 100 and it dropped drastically to 0. Then along the line, I got pregnant. I was not able to use the skincare products because the smell, when I perceive it, I tend to throw up.
Skin bleaching during pregnancy can also harm an unborn baby. If dangerous ingredients get into the mother's bloodstream, they can reach her child through the placenta.
So when I stopped the bleaching, I got very, very dark. I think my skin went back to factory reset. So after birth, I went back to bleaching. Everything just got worse. I started learning about my skin.
Skin cancer can occur, but it's much less than in people with lighter skin tones. And that's because our melanin helps to some extent with sun protection. There are also studies that show that the darker skin ages a bit slower. When people lighten their skin, they lose some of those benefits. And so love your beautiful black skin and, be proud of it.
So after using so many skincare products and they were not working for me, I decided that let me just venture into skincare business to repair my own skin. Now, I don't feel like I'm an outcast. I feel on top of the world. I feel like this is my skin tone and this is the best I can be. Black is so beautiful.